Gong sound.
Welcome to episode 129 of the Postmodern Polymath Podcast. I'm Chris, and I hope it's episode 129 because I just forgot. Well, whatever. Anyway, with me this week is Zach with somebody is echoing. There's an echo, Dan.
They had it before.
Well, he ruined it.
It's a podcast. They'll figure it out. I believe in you, Dan.
So I'm on this. Lyman's coming.
Hail Satan.
The guy we're having, Dan and his friend Denver. Dan is the podcaster of sometimes podcaster. This time he was on Satanix. God, I can never get this down. Skeptical Satanist. And I was on there co-hosting, and he's doing it. I don't know. He says he's going to start another one, and I'm going to be on there, but I don't know. He's jerking around, so. Who knows?
Got these co-hosts you just can't depend on. It's not good, huh?
Yeah. So they're over here setting.
At least we're both wearing hockey jerseys tonight.
Oh, you got that Flames jersey.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of the outfit.
So I'm going to let Dan, when he comes on, tell us a little bit about what he wants to talk about, because I thought that everybody, since he's the main guest, Zach is always here, so he doesn't really count as a guest.
True. I'm just here to drink. Beard looks like Chris.
Yes.
Kinda. The hat.
No.
Kind of an Arn Ra type hat, but, you know.
I'm not doing that nose, bro.
He's got the beard, sort of. I don't know.
Maybe.
Oak bourbon. I mean, oak barrels. So many oak.
That doesn't taste like. I guess it's the mix, maybe. But why they mix it?
So, I mean, it's. I feel like, all barrels are wood of some kind. So I'm guessing oak. Maybe that's one of the most popular ones because it adds flavor. So there you go.
Well,
it's always something
oak
woody.
Chips. That's what it is. They put oak chips on some of that stuff.
I hear sounds.
Dan's over there. He's doesn't
Can you
never.
guys hear us? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. I'll sit you.
Thumbs up.
Cool.
Your background
You
noise
hear
is
that?
still on there.
He said there's still background noise.
Fucker, really?
You're worried about background noise?
Not really.
You're professional, man.
I'm
Too
not.
much.
Anyway, so
I'm like, my cat's scratching at the door. Okay, we're doing it. Show goes on.
it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it.
Sure.
Anyway,
He said it ain't a big deal.
Okay.
Dan is here to talk about something. I'll let him
Oh.
introduce.
I tried.
That
But
sounds
first
real
of all,
fun.
I want to address something I've been keeping an eye on because I'm a drama whore, and so CPAC is a fun thing.
Okay. We have to go to CPAC, huh?
Conservative Political Action Conference. It's really fun. It's like anybody who listens to this knows what it is pretty much, but it's a conference when they get together, a bunch of these conservative types, and it's always, fucking. Apparently mute doesn't work.
You know who you invited on the show.
Yeah. It's Satan.
We don't
see. I knew it.
Respect you, but that's okay.
So this year at CPAC, there was they had a golden idol of Trump. And of course they're going to I'm sure they'll sit there and say, oh, it was tongue in cheek, it was meant to trigger the lips. Right. No, y'all worship that shit. It's fucking disturbing, man. I mean, but anyway, that's not, of course, then there was speeches by a chick from North Dakota wants to sit there and brag she has the least deaths, even though she has the population of less than some mid-sized cities. There's not even 1 million people who live in that fucking place, man. But
It's weird who like the rising stars are in the Republican Party. It's like the person who's towed the Trump line the most.
And
And Ted Cruz, who like, it's so weird to see people try to do Trump, but they can't do it. Like they're too smart. They just lack. I don't know what it is.
they don't
But
know how to act.
Ted Cruz on there making jokes about his trip to. He was like, Orlando's awesome, but not as awesome as going to Mexico. I was like, what? You just abandoned your dog and your state.
They don't give a shit. They don't care.
That's true.
So anyway, the thing I wanted to talk about specifically was Atheist for Liberty. I believe was the name. And the only reason I want to talk about this is because there's one certain David Silverman, grifter in chief, who is trying to get a foothold on another grift that he is on, and actually this kind of links in with Zach a little tangentially because Meta from Friendly Atheist, which I hope you announced so it wasn't a surprise or anything, Zach.
Oh yeah, I'm having them on in 2 days. Yep. Finally got it set up.
Yeah. So he wrote an article about Atheists for Liberty, and of course Silverman had to get on Twitter, and they started bitching at each other. But Silverman is just so funny to me. I mean, it's like can't he go back to selling insurance? He seemed to be okay with that, you know. It seems like
Well, he was like taking credit for the secular, having some foothold in the Republican Party. And the only thing he did was like one poll that said that abortion was considered not a very important item, where I'm like, what? A lot of people who are people who vote on one issue vote on abortion. So I don't know what he was giving himself a high five for, because as we know, any group in America that calls themselves Liberty is usually pretty on the opposite side.
Yeah, it's not Liberty.
Like there's a Liberty hangout that hired that gun girl, like who goes around trying to harass college students and saying stupid things.
I don't know. University college.
Yeah,
Was
going around.
Liberty Medical? Wasn't that where the one dude?
Oh, Liberty,
that was
Liberty
diabetic?
University.
Diabetes medicine? I don't.
Well, yeah, I mean Liberty University. That was the one
Yeah.
where like the guy was getting videotaped his wife like having sex with somebody else, and then he got
that one.
he had pictures of him. Like it's wait, which Christian person who acted poorly? And he had pictures of himself looking drunk, and then he got like $1 million buyout. And it's like, yeah, tax dollars going to good causes as usual.
It's disgusting. But the big thing about the Silverman thing was it just boggles my mind that he just keeps popping up like a fucking zit on my ass every time. Every like couple. This is his new thing. No, you better get your silly ass on. It's the cat.
Sure it is.
This cat tried to kill me, so she's.
That's how you speak to women. I know it.
Uh-huh.
I know what you're doing.
I'm
It's a cover up.
And here she comes. So yeah, it's just kind of sad that he keeps popping up. And just, Lyman actually showed up. Well, Miracle never says Lyman.
Whoa, get the quad box. I like this.
How's it going?
What's up?
Let's go ahead and first of all, everybody, Lyman's here. He decided to grace us with his presence.
You're welcome.
First of all, Dan, why don't you introduce us to your friend and yourself, and to your other personalities.
Well, I'm Dan, and this is Denver. This is my brother. This is the first time he's been on. Not on weed, but yeah, on the show.
Yeah, this is my first podcasting debut.
Well, welcome, sir. First of all, I need Daniel to tell me if he's going to ever start doing his thing again, or if he's just giving that up.
We're looking at, I'm gonna probably give up on the skeptical Satanist end of things, at least for a bit, and me and my brother are going to start up Forest for the Trees podcast. You want
Yeah, like, my big interests are, like, outdoors type things, and I'm still like, I like to debate people about religion and stuff, but it's not a main priority. I like outdoors type stuff better. So, and I was in the Army for a few years. I have some training as far as like survival skills and stuff goes. So I just enjoy doing that type of thing. So I'd like to integrate that to atheism and to being inclusive to communities that are scared to go hiking, or for I guess lack of better terms, just they don't want to be harassed by some redneck on a trail, if they happen to be trans or LGBTQ or whatever it may be. So I wanted to include those people, and I don't know, if they're interested in the outdoors, I'd like to take them out and get them acquainted.
Well, that's interesting because I've never heard that. I didn't even think about maybe trans folk want to go hiking or something, but some fucking redneck fuck comes out and jumps out and whatever tries to harm them or whatever. So that is an interesting. Of course, then again, my fat ass wouldn't be. Shit. I get lost in fucking. Actually, I went hiking once and we got lost and ended up hiking for 2.5 hours. And I nearly died of dehydration. But that's fine. Don't worry about that.
Sounds like you'd be the perfect guinea pig then for this.
Yeah. So we had
There you go, live hike.
We had a little informal, I don't know, poll, but talk about camping when we were on the group chat. And Lyman seems to be down with the idea of that sort of the great outdoors sort of thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Camping's awesome. It's been a long time since I've done it. It's probably been 15, 16 years or so. But yeah, growing up I used to do it at least like a couple times a year. Go out, walk around, hike, fish, do all that good stuff.
Zach and I believe, were the non-camping enthusiasts. I believe our actions would likely be beer drinking.
Yeah, I was like the guy who's drinking the cookies and cream beer. Probably not the great outdoor guy. Because I mean, how big of a cooler can you actually carry, like on your back, or can you forage for beer? I don't know if that's going to happen. If you could.
I think that's called robbing a liquor store. But
well, I mean, they make those hard exterior backpacks for a fucking reason,
Yeah, there's like a $5,000 Yeti cooler. I'm sure you could get.
Dump some ice in that bitch.
We're gonna be carrying Chris, so we'll see.
Chris has got to carry me. That's the deal.
And
Oh.
I'm also like decent at identifying mushrooms and like wild edibles and stuff, so I kind of wanted to bring that to the table too and try to teach some people about that.
We're going to discuss more things like mental health and different social issues and things as well. It's going to be segmented,
Okay.
a bit. So.
And I was going to talk about like 420 activities on the trail and like don't smoke weed in front of people's kids and shit like that. Like
They probably fucking need it, to be honest with you.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, shit. Mommy, I'm high, tired, I want to go home. Just blow some smoke in their face. Jesus,
Shove
calm
them down
down.
in a groundhog hole. Leave them there.
Fuck that shit. So, this is an interesting thing I've never thought of. So, segmented, would it be about an hour? You figure hour and a half?
That's what we'd probably be aiming for, is an hour and a half, depending on what we're going to be doing. It would be nice to be able to build up a little bit of film and stuff first, so it's probably going to be a little while before we actually have an episode up. Because we're going to be trying to stockpile some footage and get some outdoorsy type filming and shit going on for it.
Like
so
backlog a few and then release them while we try to make.
Well, it'll give us an opportunity to maybe then at the last minute cut in something for that might be relevant.
Events.
Yeah, current events or something.
That's where you like get like GoPros and things like that, and film it. It's part of it, kind of like that show Alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to cannibalize somebody at some point.
Have you guys watched that? No, I'm sorry, not Alive, Alone.
Oh.
Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. I don't watch TV very often, so
For good things.
It's actually a really cool show. It's a good reality show. What they do is, I forget how much it is, like $500,000 or something like that is up for grabs, and they start with like 7 or 10 people, and they have to they put them out in a specific place, like could be Vancouver Island, or they drop them up in like the Arctic, or someplace in like South America, and they put them far apart from each other and drop them there with like 10 items that they had a list they could choose from. They could choose 10 items to bring, and then basically like their winter clothes or whatever is going on. And it's always right when winter's hitting, and they basically leave them out there to survive from scratch as long as they can. And the last person standing wins the money. And basically they come out and check their body mass, make sure they're not like starving to death, like literally going to die. And if they're medically bad, they'll pull them, or they can quit and stuff like that. But it's actually super well done. It is not like scripted and campy and like rigged. It's like, it's dark. Like some of it's real dark, but it's amazingly good.
I mean, it sounds really good. Like that's what, like there's a real, not a fine line, the opposite of a fine line between like survival and just camping.
Mm-hmm.
Like, camping, you get to bring all your stuff and little comfort items and things like that. But survival is pretty gritty, and it sucks, and it'll make you rethink a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of life choices that you've made.
I mean, there's people out there where like, and they give them cameras and they set up like field cams, to keep an eye. So they're getting footage of like their camp and their shelters that they built, which get real elaborate sometimes over time. And they're like, basically the way like Tom Hanks talks to Wilson when he's on the island, they're talking to a camera. And it's like, and they'll take it out when they're going to like try to get through like 8 inches of ice to go attempt to fish, because they haven't had protein in like 8 days. And like it's definitely well done. It's not like dramatized and just hyper edited and stupid. It's real gritty, but it's good. Cool. If you like that sort of thing, you should definitely watch it.
Word.
8 seasons worth.
Yeah, that doesn't mean shit, though.
It does.
No, it doesn't. Survivor's been on how long?
Well, but Survivor is there because it's basically a game show. This is like watching people literally skirt. Like, okay. Dude, there's a guy that his camp gets raided by a wolverine up in Alaska, and he like ends up having to kill it with an axe. Like, yeah, like real bad. Like,
I'm taking game shows over. Well, I don't know. Axes on wolverines.
This whole camping / survival thing is sounding less and less fun. Although
I could just picture Chris in like a live cat robe out in the middle of like the Arctic or something.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
pet interruptions are always accepted on the show, especially since it's not my show. Go ahead.
There's like a lady that's like there's people that lived out there on absolutely nothing. Like they come with no food, no water, no nothing. I think they can bring like 2 rations if they could choose to as part of their tent.
2 what?
Rations, just like rations. And they can choose to bring like a bow or not. They can choose to bring like a saw or not. They can choose to bring an axe or not. Like all this different stuff, like tarps, and it's like literally just 10 items other than their clothes. Like this lady's out there like hunting squirrels and like building like shawls and all this stuff looking like Viking style stuff. Like just she was out there for like 80 days. Like 80 days. Like I can't do anything for 80 days. Like like I don't know. It's like a testament to like human ability, to be honest.
Well, if there's a reality show I want Criss and Lyman to do, it's a show called Naked and Afraid. And it's literally two people sent out to the middle of nowhere, and they're wearing no clothes, although they're kind of blurred. And I think they get one item, and they have to survive for X amount of days, and they have to get to wherever rendezvous point. And they have no clothes. Well, I mean what happens in the tent stays in the tent, you know?
Naked and
No
aroused.
judgment. But if you're talking about survival shows, that's
Only tents.
that's what I've seen, and could be rough because I like camping. I'm like, well, camping maybe, and then like survival, it's like, well,
No.
doing this on purpose.
No.
But I do like the angle. Like, here's something it made me think of. Like a year or two ago, I was very anti anybody having guns, and then it kind of hit me. Wait a second. Just based on narratives, everybody on the right is packing heat, and nobody on the left has guns. You know, maybe people on the left should consider,
Oh,
having
there's
weapons. And then I've discovered,
people on the
yes,
left
there are
have guns.
communities out there.
There's a lot of guns on
It's
the
like
left.
you've got to, even things out. You don't want it to be one-sided. You want
The difference
you want to
is
see like representation. Whoever you are, you want to see that
Yeah, I'd
person
rather
doing
have-
what you're into, which is survival, owning guns, owning 50 cats, whatever.
I think the big difference between the left and the right, like why people have this perception, like the two things is like people on the left are like, yeah, we should probably have some gun reform because like what's happening is fucked up. We should do something about that maybe. And then the other thing is like most people on the left don't run around like with a rifle rack in the back of their truck, like going to Walmart or going to the gas station with like a 357 on their side, which
Well, I would
I'm
love
going to
to
protest carrying an AR-15 usually.
right.
I would love to train trans people and gay people and black people to carry assault rifles properly, but because I think if you want reform, like arm a bunch of people that they're scared of, and they'll be like, "Holy shit, we gotta get these guns away from these black people."
Well, it's like thinking about the Black Panthers. They carried guns and they took them to like the California like state representative. And they're like, "Oh, we're going to pass some fucking laws now." All of a sudden, guns are not so cool. But when
That's
the crazy white
exactly
people
what
did it in Michigan, it was like Tuesday. It was no big deal.
Wasn't it when Reagan was governor of California
Yeah.
or something like that,
Mhm.
that suddenly like black people like were just showing up, like the Panthers were just showing up and just standing with guns and like, patrolling their
They still
neighborhoods and
should.
stuff.
I
They-
wish
oh,
they would
no.
still.
There
Like,
are people that are starting to do that more. There is a thing that's
I
becoming
saw
more
that,
prevalent, but
and some of them they were poorly trained, to put it nicely, and I would like to see them with better training and better because I don't want to see anybody with a firearm being dangerous and reckless. So like I'm like how you said, like I want people to be either proficient with the thing or not to have it.
yeah.
Like I'm pro gun for the people that are competent, but if I don't know what kind of tests you put out to weed out the crazy people. Like I don't know, but
I don't know. Well, I mean, at the very least, even if you can't weed out
Your
the crazy
basic math
people,
test.
I mean
show
we have
like
licenses to drive a car. I mean,
a QAnon Rorschach test. No, but like, I mean, I'm definitely of the belief that if you are going to have a gun, like you should have to sit through like safety courses and then pass a practical and be able to like learn 100% without any excuse, like how to not accidentally shoot yourself or somebody else or how to store your gun, like basic shit.
yeah,
You know.
like when I was in the army, like people don't understand. Like when I was in the military, like our weapons were locked away from us. You know, we didn't just get to have that shit all the time. You know.
Oh, you mean you didn't have your M16 on your back and like an RPG across your chest just cuz?
Right. I didn't have. Yeah.
America?
Yeah. So it's like when people run around here dressed like army people at the Capitol and crazy shit like that. And like all I can do is sit and nitpick at their uniforms and their techniques, at like what garbage they are. And I know it scares some liberal people to see those dipshits out there, but like to me it's like, well, you're running around with red hats, a lot of you, so there's a big target. Like, so you're all fucking stupid. The so-called stack, when they were walking up the steps, they were like holding each other's shoulder. Well,
yeah.
You do that with your non-firing hand. So unless they were all left-handed, because they had all their right hands on each other's shoulders, the idea would be that my rifle's in this hand, I have my left hand on his shoulder, and I squeeze him when to go.
Yep.
Like if I'm entering a building.
You see SWAT do it. You see all kinds of people do it.
Shits were doing it ass backwards and walking up the thing, holding everybody's right shoulder with their right hand. Most people are right-handed.
You got a little more quiet on Dan and Denver's side, just to let you know. But it did make me think, like, they showed Tucker Carlson, like, shooting an automatic weapon, and he's left-handed, and he had a right-handed gun, and all of the slugs were, like, hitting him in the face. Those are hot, too. When he was shooting, it's like, have you shot a gun before? It does seem like 101 type things. Like, you should have the spent casings going the other way, not into your face while you're shooting.
But that would be so good if he just accidentally shot himself. I would not.
It's like you have to like cosplay as someone who's really into guns, where it's like, yeah, clearly you haven't shot before. Like, I mean, it's fun to like joke about people not shooting, but you hear stories all the time about kids grabbing a gun and like shooting themselves or shooting their brother or sister, and it's just like you don't want to see that. So, but it's like all or nothing.
Yeah,
I hate to see that. It's like people are going to have guns; they're not taking those away. Like take away Christianity in this country. Give me a break. So how do we, make it safer?
Yeah, the whole thing, the whole idea. Some people, they're left, but they're kind of, I don't know. Off reality, because if you think that you're going to get rid of guns in this country, you're out here. There's
not in our lifetime, or probably our children.
It's not. You're never going to. It's part of the. Well, of course, you can make the argument. If you destroyed the whole thing and start again, but I just don't think guns are going anywhere. And so, rather than try to concentrate efforts, I mean, still, try to limit who gets them, rather than, the guns themselves. Of course, think about it. If less people are getting guns, then the manufacturers will make less guns. I mean, it's supply and demand. Unless, of course, they can sell them. Shit, if they got cut back that much, they might just be selling it out under the table to the Aryan nations or some shit like that.
I mean, theoretically, if like a century or two went by, it could happen, because that's enough time for like a major cultural shift to happen with like many generations dying out. But like to think that we're going to get rid of them all now, that's just naive. And so, at the end of the day, it's like, Arizona is a really good example of like what not to do. Because as long as you are of age and not a felon, you can carry, do whatever you want, carry it however you wish. No questions asked. You don't need a concealed permit anymore. You don't have to take any kind of classes. You could turn 21, have never touched a gun in your life, walk into it. You could go to a store, which they got rid of the waiting period, so you pass a background check, you leave. Or you can just buy them privately, which, that's easy enough to do on your lunch break. You can go pretty much to any Walmart or any like one of the many gun stores around town and, stock up on your ammo, do whatever you got to do on your lunch break. And so it's like, I don't think you should be able to privately just sell stuff like that without any accountability. To me, that's a big problem. And I'd say the biggest problem is probably the fact that we don't have any continuity between like the federal laws and all the states. So like if a lot of states like California or Illinois and stuff like that, the cities that have really strict, some of the really strict gun laws, their neighboring states like Indiana and stuff like that do not. And so it's like an hour, 2 hour drive to hop a state line, legally buy something, bring it back in, and circumvent the whole thing. It's like, I get the states' rights thing, but there has to be some sort of.
There has never been a thing that states' rights has been used positively. I don't think. I mean,
No.
It's always fucking some bullshit they use states' rights on. But
Actually, the only thing positive is marijuana.
yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, you can still get it, but it's harder. Anyway, I want to go back to y'all, Nan and D&D over here. D&Ds.
D&D.
You should start your own
Can you hear
business.
us now?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
you
can hear
guys
you.
sound better. Much crisper and louder.
Cool.
Yeah, because in case you didn't know, Lyman is an audio engineer.
Oh shit.
I
Oh,
don't know about that.
So I like. So you said you were in the military, right? Denver, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was in the Army and in the infantry in the 101st Airborne down in Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Okay.
So I've done some cool stuff, but there's definitely people that have done way more heroic and cooler shit than I've ever done. So I'm not some, like, to me, watching them dudes, that's infuriating. Like, people that put on a uniform and, like, LARP, or whatever you would call it.
It basically is. I mean,
Tactical LARPing.
Yeah. What? I'm glad. It just reminds me that you have an inside look at just how bad the neo-Nazi problem in the military is.
Oh yeah. In fact, I was attempted to be recruited when I was in there. There was a lot of white power morons, not necessarily like in my platoon, but in other platoons and in other companies. Like, I don't know if you know, like, the structure of the military, the size. Like, a platoon would be about 30 people, I think. I think it's like 4 squads of something. It's been a long time. I'm 42 years old and I've been out for a while. But from different platoons, that you're close to those people. Different platoons, you know them, you work alongside them. So, like, I was in contact with a lot of dudes from, like, Oklahoma, it seemed, were a little more into that type of shit. At least there. It was like these 3 dudes from Oklahoma and a dude from Texas that were trying to get me into that type of stuff. And that's when I first saw that Stormfront bullshit, if you guys...
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was when my first introduction to that, and that was probably, like, 98 or 99, maybe. And it was like the white pride worldwide bullshit, like, and they were so dumb, like all their propaganda and stuff with just, like, if you're not completely brainwashed, which I was almost completely brainwashed because I came from a Southern Baptist background up here, so I was kind of biting on some of their Christian bullshit that they were spitting out, but luckily I had too many black and Hispanic friends that I wasn't willing to sell those guys out to go, I don't know, suck my own dick about how fucking white I am or whatever. I don't know.
That's the best description I think you can give for it.
I mean, it's so dumb. Like, when you actually listen to their rhetoric or read the garbage books they'll tell you to read, what the fuck is that one? Like, Behold a Pale Horse or some shit?
Oh, Jesus.
Is that one of them?
Yeah, it is one of them. It's something. Yeah, it's something a pale horse.
the Turner Diaries.
Oh God.
you know what? I read that.
Oh, that's trash.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to read this motherfucker.
Did you?
It's not good.
Just as a piece of writing, obviously it's garbage. Okay, but it's just so fantastical, and it's just so filled with these racist tropes. It's like they literally do think that fucking Jews are fucking kingpins and international criminals, and the blacks are their servants. At least in this city.
Like Q.
You know what? It's funny you say that because I've spent a lot of time in the Q world since about 2018, just to keep an eyeball on it. And there's an amazing amount of like
Mel Gibson. Sorry.
I mean, it's as good as any guess at this point. But no, there's a lot of like people that pass around like PDFs of the Turner Diaries and a lot of like Turner Diary and different other things that get passed around like readily. It's really interesting and cute because like everybody is either not necessarily a white supremacist, but they're religious, or they're both, or it's people in like countries that, or they're individuals and people in countries that white supremacists and Christians would normally hate, but under like this umbrella of Q, somehow they're like unified under this whole situation. So it's really this like melting pot of this, like, it's an anomaly because at any other point in time you would see these people warring against each other, or at least one side trying to go after the other. But because it's Q, they're all like, all right, we'll let it slide.
That stuff blows my mind too. Like, it's. I mean, it seems to me like the white power rhetoric goes right in there. You know, like you see. That's why you've seen like at the Capitol, like you saw neo-Nazis right alongside.
And yeah, QAnon never seemed any different than what we had at our church.
Or instead of saying Jews, they'll say globalists.
Yeah, that's like coded language. That's like the Soros and the globalists and the Bilderbergs, which all that is just like coded ways of talking about the Jews. I mean,
and like I never got that either. Like whenever they were pitching the white power shit at me, like I never understood like why are you guys so pissed at the Jews? Like what did they really fucking do something that bad to you?
It's like such a small part of the population, and yet Ben Shapiro is kind of one of them. It's really odd.
Like, could you even pick out a Jew? Like, if I had a lineup, I could line up 20 Jews and tell them, well, yeah, just one of them's a Jew. You know, are they going to know? Like, would they know?
Probably not.
Without their calipers to measure the dimples on your
Sure,
skull
the skull,
like measure
skull shape
phrenology.
Like,
a lot of
that's it.
skeptics have fallen into that. The weird skull shape thing, yeah.
Yeah,
Seems
I
like
mean,
stuff from 100 years ago is coming back. Like eugenics is coming back, and all
Like,
this
totally
race skull shape IQ difference is hot stuff now. It's like, what happened? I don't know.
These anti-vaxxers, there's going to be all kinds of old stuff come back.
I hope they die though. That's the one.
Bringing back glaciers, all kinds of things.
Like, sadly, like somebody I'm close to is like started telling me something like they got babies in the new vaccine or whatever for COVID. Like they were trying to tell me.
Babies.
Yeah. Like
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they
baby
said, I think it was the Catholic Church was against the new vaccine because it had the whole like aborted fetuses thing in there, and it's like,
oh yeah,
oh, now you guys are against this? Okay, great. It's like any excuse to be.
Well, it's like now that's when you're not okay with messing with children. I get it.
That makes sense. Her friend's a Catholic.
It is weird to see like this QAnon, like we're trying to root out all these pedophiles, and then like all the people high up in there seem to be pedophiles. Like all these people in the Trump administration, Trump himself has had some problems that may be coming out.
If you want a child rape cabal, look no further than the Catholic Church. I mean,
Exactly.
They've been doing it forever, and they still are shuffling around pedophiles at a high rate. Like
They spend millions of dollars a year to relocate and like basically hide away people. They've spent millions of dollars like lobbying for legislation and stuff like that in places like New York and other things historically. Like,
Did you see recently where they found where those nuns were like pimping out those little kids and then beating them when they came back with like semen stains on their clothes?
What is happening? What?
Somewhere in Europe. Yeah.
I didn't know the details of it. I knew that there was something having to do with nuns, and I was like,
Chris is surprised.
Oh,
Wow.
dude, they were selling them. They were like selling them off to people, like prostituting them out. And they would come back, and their hair would be disheveled, and they would have sperm in their hair and on their clothes, and they would get beaten for it. For them sending them to a pedophile gangbang and then coming home.
This can't. I need a source, sir. I will need a source.
well, I mean, that's like in line with their whole corporal punishment with children.
I mean, come on. What? No, that sounds like some kind of fucking really bad. Like, what's the name of that centipede? Human centipede or whatever.
It's just called
like that.
it's just called the Catholic Church.
Well, I know, yeah, but that just seems even bizarre. Even well, of course, back in the Middle Ages, the popes were fucking everybody and all kinds of shit. But that's another story. That just seems, even for them, that just seems crazy. And nuns?
Dude, nuns have been wicked complicit in some of this stuff. They haven't necessarily like assaulted children. I mean,
Well, they
I'm
enable.
sure it's happened, but yeah, they become complicit and enable it either out of fear or because, oh, well, this is our so-and-so, God's mission, blah, blah, blah. And, of course, that has to do with being a kitty diddler. So, that's
Kiddly diddler. That
kitty diddler.
phrase makes me uncomfortable.
It should. It should. It's because you're not a kitty diddler.
No, it's like.
It sounds too much like a Dr. Seuss thing. It's just.
Oh, well.
Oh, that's timely.
I don't. That wasn't a segue, but it sure as fuck sounded like one, didn't it? Well, okay, let's talk about some Dr. Seuss. As y'all might know, the latest conservative mind fuck, and this is of general interest actually, because I don't remember this ever happening.
Yeah, this is news to me. I haven't heard of it. I don't know what it's about yet, so this is like a fresh.
So,
thing for me.
Dr. Seuss back in the 40s, and to be honest with you, like most white dudes old white dudes were racist to some extent. Okay, that's just because they were taught that. This was everywhere. And I'm not making excuses for it. I'm just saying it's kind of it's not out of the ordinary for the time period. That's what I'll say. But he made some questionable drawings of people of Chinese descent. Now, and again, if any of y'all have looked at anything from that time period, you know exactly how any historian or a history buff will tell you what the fuck they were saying.
Bunny used to be bad at it too.
Yeah, and Tom and Jerry, all that shit. I mean, it was part of the culture. And again, I'm not making excuses, but that kind of explains.
It's just a statement of fact.
Oh, I used to be a garbage person, man. Like I used to be a bigot, so like I know. Like I was raised racist, and it took for a little while. Like I was a fucking moron for a period.
Well, you're still a moron. That's
right. I'm just
you're not a racist moron, right?
Wow.
But yeah, well,
That's harsh, but
I mean, the truth hurts, man. But we here for the truth.
Where are you from again, Chris?
Okay, is that a joke coming? Is that what you're saying?
Who's your Senator, Chris?
He's further south. Zach's further south than I am.
Hey, we voted Democrats, baby. Although that's about to end.
yeah.
So
The Republican legislature in the state is like, oh yeah, we are turning this shit around.
they are voting,
least
but
we aren't quite West Virginia. Our Democrats are still Democrats.
Could literally throw a
Well,
rock
at least you
at
have a
the
Democrat, even though he's.
Well, no, but we still have like Sherrod Brown and all of them that are actually standing up for people.
He's good. Yeah, I like him.
But
Okay, so
You got
kind of
Jim
get off track.
Jordan too.
right.
let's steer it. But the Dr. Seuss thing is very interesting to me, only because it just sounds so bizarre. Dr. Seuss. I mean, I think that's what it was. I mean, he drew some in the 40, of course, World War II. You know, well, we were fighting the Japanese, and they did bomb Pearl Harbor, and we were already racist, but that made people even more racist. So yeah, he drew some racist cartoons and shit, mostly of Chinese. I'm not going to say it again. I don't know why I feel the need to keep saying this, but it's, you know, I'm not making excuses, but I'm sorry. I mean, it's not out. And people are on the left are like, oh my, I'm not going to straw man it, but some are like, oh my God, I can't believe, you know, even Dr. Seuss. Come on, man. I'm going to need y'all to calm down a little bit. They pulled 6 books.
Yeah, you can't get like beyond the headlines. It's like the members of his family who control the rights said, hey, how about these 6 books that are really bad? How about we just, once they're sold out, we're just not going to sell them anymore. That was their decision. And then Ted Cruz of all people was like, Joe Biden decided to cancel Dr. Seuss. And by the way, out of the top 50 Amazon books right now, 33 are Dr. Seuss, because all the Republicans who got pissed off about Horton Hears a Who, like the Lorax movie 3 years ago, are now buying all the stuff out because they think it's going to be like, it's all going to be gone.
Jesus,
when it's
do you know what country
the
this
most
is?
obscure books he
search
wrote?
results
All
are-
that secretly being able to be racist and get away with it, man. It's like the
Well, you
Aunt
know-
Jemima bottles and the
The Land O'Lakes.
You know, all the Southerners
the
are
lady
looking it
that
up
just
on
got busted
eBay
from
right
the
now.
Mandalorian, Gina Carano. Like they want to all buy her little action figures now.
So,
like it's
question: what happened with her? I didn't have
Oh,
the
what-
mental fortitude to even look it up. What is
No.
just TLDR?
No,
It's
you
hard to
are
keep
going to
track.
get it when we finish the subject. You're
Okay.
not railroading us again.
I won't railroad.
I'm
Wow.
almost finished with Dr. Seuss. Calm down.
Chris keeps
Dr.
typing
Seuss
it
got
back here.
6 books pulled out of how many books? I should have looked beforehand.
He's like 60 or something.
He's got a lot of books.
He got 6, and let me tell you, these titles of these Seuss books, no, you have never heard of any of them. I guarantee you. Unless you're just like a Seussiphile and you got like his fucking,
you got a Seussifix.
you got a signature, a Seussifix. That's really cute. You
Well,
know,
there's some old books and they're based on older terms, but one of them is called the Pocket Book of Boners because that was like the term for bad joke like back in the day.
oh yeah, I've heard.
And there are like 5 books that he illustrated that have the title Boner in them. And I'm like, little kids were like, yes, I got this.
Yeah, it's just
But these were,
That was one of.
so you know they pulled 6 not very well-known books, and now the conservatives. And what's funny also is that some people, there is this kind of uncomfortable twinge of like making books unavailable. I will admit, as a general rule. However, that's not what they're like. Zach said, they're not going beyond the headlines because it's too easy, of course, to use as a political wedge issue. So you know they're just going to go with the surface shit. But it's only 6 books. There were some racist caricatures. You know, I don't. To be honest, I don't know if I would stop publishing them. I think I would put a warning maybe on it. But you're gonna create artificial scarcity when you stop making this shit. That's
Couldn't
what's
they just
gonna,
edit the characters? Like,
well, I wouldn't, but no, because he wrote them. So I wouldn't be comfortable without him doing it. To be honest with you. So if it was,
yeah, if you're taking Ray,
Sounds
everything
like
was like racist, it's like, well, what will be left?
yeah, I mean, so I don't know if maybe a big warning like they're doing with a lot of the Muppet shows. They're doing that with. I know some show like what was it, Blazing Saddles, and
They basically put like on the Muppet, because the Muppet Show, I think they put that on the Disney Plus channel, and they just put warnings that like, hey, some of the stuff they did in terms of jokes were out of date. And then the conservative were like, they canceled them. It's like, no, you can still watch the shows. They just let you know, hey, by the way, some of the jokes they made in the 60s and 70s, yeah, you might not think they're so funny now. What a surprise.
I don't get it. I don't get why. Well, I do understand why. Because anything resembling progress to these most of these conservative shits, anything resembling progress is just anathema. It doesn't matter what it is. And they're like a millstone around society's neck for progress. So what I say is, take that millstone off their neck, put it on their neck, and put them in the goddamn ocean with that millstone dragging their ass down. Because we got a big problem, and it's called fascism. And I'm not the one. Your boy over there, Denver, will be the one to enforce it. I'm gonna be a Monday morning quarterback, which is always funny because people who actually say that shit usually aren't the ones who would actually do it. You know, I'm like, motherfucker, sit down. You don't know shit about survivalist. So maybe that's where your show comes in. You can teach a bunch of lazy fat fuckers how to survive, and maybe shoot guns. But of course, the focus is on LGBT folk. But you know, you could kind of branch out from just general lefties.
I would like to help them out for sure. But like, anybody that doesn't feel comfortable, because I've heard stories about certain survival instructors and stuff being super Christian, and so just by proxy, I imagine they don't like gay folks or whatever.
Basically, the grown-up advanced version of Boy Scouts, where it's like it's got its own unofficial set of preferred clients.
Right. And like I'm also not going to just strictly focus on that. I just want to get out and hike and find people that enjoy that type of shit too, you know? Like, and if there's people in those communities that want to go do it, I want to provide a group of people that are, you know, pro them. And, you know, if some dude is making fun or talking shit or whatever, they might get the fuck knocked out of them if they mess with my gay and whatever.
Comrade.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
Well, fuck them, you know. I did a bit off topic. Is that a real beard? Because that is a sexy man beard, and I'm very jealous. So, Denver, don't take the beard. My beard is my shtick. So don't try to make it an issue on your show. That's all I'm saying.
all right.
He had a better beard than yours. I don't know what.
No, sir. Well, no, I can go ahead and just disabuse you of that. I mean, that's just objectively incorrect, like Fox News. It's just objectively.
Oh, can't use that one.
All right. So, in the last thing I want to talk about real quick is you mentioned Gina. What's her name? Carino.
Yeah, Corona.
It's Carano's the spelling, yeah.
And
I didn't even know who she was until she got kicked off the Disney show. I was like, I'd seen a couple episodes of The Mandalorian. I'm like, oh yeah, she was on there. Okay.
Oh,
Ex MMA person. I'm like, what a surprise. It was not so
I've
sensitive.
been punched in the head a lot.
there's leftists. There's plenty of leftist MMAs, by the way. There's a guy.
Oh, yeah.
Nah.
Just to throw that out there. But yeah, she got fired from Mandalorian, and incidentally, 80s guy Zach, right? You're an 80s. You're a Gen Xer, right? You're about my age. You remember that song Mandolin Rain? You remember that song?
Mandolin Rain?
Nobody
boy.
gets this joke.
The Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the name of the song's Mandolin Rain, and it sounds like Mandalorian Rain. So every time I hear Mandalorian.
Doesn't, but okay.
Anyway, you don't get it. Just never mind. Anyway, so.
Really? No one ever gets you in your time, man.
Can we get
You
a
get
laugh
older
button
people.
for him, like a laugh box?
You got a laugh track.
That's funny.
I
I'm
thought
sorry. I'm not.
our production be better than
laughing
fucking
at each other. I
majority.
can't do it.
So
You can donate to Chris Watson at.
I mean, there's a thing on the page for my PayPal. I could put it on the main. Anyway, whatever. So she got kicked out because there's a couple of things. One of them was something about wearing masks, if I'm not mistaken.
She
Mocking
kind
it
of
or
compared wearing masks to like people were in the Holocaust, kind of a thing. But
something. Was
yeah,
it her?
God.
That
It wasn't-
doesn't matter. It was something, talking shit about masks.
Is that it?
No, and then she's changed her pronouns to boop, beep, bop, like making fun of trans people.
Oh.
And then she did the whole fucking Jewish, the world conspiracy, world conspiracy.
Jewish space laser, Cabal, Soros,
Yeah.
Bilderberg, Hollywood.
But I
Hollywood.
mean, now that I'm thinking about it, Zach, what did she really say that was really that? Is it? I guess I don't know. That does seem
We
rather.
could use that space laser for survival purposes.
I don't care.
Like
Anyway.
water, like,
Oh, the Jewish space laser. I forgot about that.
Maybe we can put out.
You can definitely boil ramen with a space laser. I'm pretty sure.
I think we could boil it over.
You know what? Maybe you guys can see if you could get Marjorie Taylor Greene out there to tell you about the space laser, and then just like float her down the Mississippi or the Potomac or something. Like, I don't know.
I'll eat her. There
Work
will be
it out.
nothing left to cart.
And that's where the alive videotaping happens.
Yes.
So she got kicked out because she was a bitch, basically. And now, of course, the outrage machine, as the conservatives ironically call it, because they're the ones doing it, have decided in their wisdom that this is one of their cause célèbre, and they're going to fucking push this shit. Well, so she's off the show, and of course they're getting that. And now Ben Shapiro has brought her on to do. First of all, she did an interview with Ben Shapiro, which I couldn't get. I'm generally about watching shit.
Hate watching.
Yeah, hate watching. But this is so boring. Maybe I need to go back and get high.
No, he is one of the most boring human beings that
Not
exists.
lie. His voice sounds like fucking nails on a chalkboard.
So,
Not to insult nails on a chalkboard. Or anything.
yeah.
Well, he's a very he tried to be because he's got a rich family, and he tried to be a Hollywood screenwriter, and he couldn't do it.
No.
So now the Daily Wire has bought their school shooter movie about, yay, let's shoot school shooters. Yeah, that just came out. And by the way, that movie was produced by a totally different company, and they bought it. So everybody trying to say that Ben Shapiro wrote that, he didn't. But, they're going to do more movies and TV shows trying to pretend that, Hollywood is way over on the left, where it can be at times. Like, it's probably more tolerant, but there are plenty of conservative people in Hollywood. But he's, trying to make a name for himself, making basically, movies and TV shows. And we'll see, since he's moved next door to Chris, because, Nashville's not that big, so they're neighbors.
Oh, fuck.
Well, since he had her on, I mean, her next stop's going to be Joe Rogan. You know that, I'm sure.
Well, no, Joe Rogan isn't.
She'll be in some PureFlix movies, like Christian.
Yeah, pure.
Although I saw an ad for PureFlix, because every time I watch anything atheist on YouTube, it has PureFlix like ads. And there's a movie coming out with John Ratzenberger and
John Ratzenberger. That
Kevin
motherfucker's alive?
Sorbo's in it. Well,
The guy from
clearly,
Cheers?
Cheers residuals
Yeah.
have not lasted. So he's doing PureFlix. They managed to get fairly well-known act on. Who knows is good, but we'll see.
So she's she's on for a movie deal, and it's just sad.
Oh, that one.
And Zach is right. I think they live literally 5 miles from me, probably. That Brentwood, the rich area, is like maybe 5 miles up the road.
I just thought it was funny that like all the conservatives who shit on California this summer and they all moved to like Houston and Texas just got frozen over and left for dead by the politicians there.
Oh, that's a whole God.
He
There's
used
so
to be a
much
big Adam
shit.
Carolla fan, and he moved from LA to Houston, or he was going to, and
It's just those fucking windmills, man. Fucking
it's the Green New Deal. It isn't even like passed yet. But
All
that's
right, so we
Years
keep
ago,
getting
that
that track.
televangelist
sorry, go
said-
ahead.
He said the gays caused the flood or whatever, and then his house got flooded.
Good job, Jesus.
The other thing I saw earlier, I think it's brand new. Jeep is renaming their vehicle from Cherokee. They're not going to call them the Cherokee anymore.
Jesus. Okay.
finally, huh?
I
What are they
don't
gonna
know.
call
I
it?
guess.
Gun?
They said that they're doing it because some of the tribes had
No.
specific-
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Okay.
So I mean, You know, that's cool.
I mean, who gives a shit? It's the name of a fucking car.
Are they going
Who
to
cares?
donate money to those tribes now? Or
They should.
That'd be too much.
Exactly. That would
wouldn't
actually.
be it. That-
Oh yeah. No, that
Donate like 10% of the profits off of their the car formerly known as the Cherokee to the Cherokee tribes. That'd be a great thing.
Yeah.
The
So
wingers are going to be collecting the hood
we
ornaments.
can't
off them,
abandon
too.
capitalism. Clutching pearls.
yeah. So she's in bed with and also there's Ben did write a book. Well, I mean, running being, in quotations there. He shit something out. I don't know if you could call it writing.
You put words.
Behind the Bastards, which of course most of y'all probably already know about. It's an awesome show. They periodically read from Ben Shapiro's book or whatever, and it's like some more drama, thriller suspense shit. And he's totally not using any of the correct terms. The sentence structures are garbage. It's just the writing is just abysmal.
What kind of book is this?
It's like fucking.
Is it fiction? Is it supposed to be like
No, it's fiction. It's
and
fiction.
it's very like, here's what
like-
Ben Shapiro thinks of himself, and then the main character is like him, but super buff and like a war veteran come back to the U.S. and has to save us from a
Jack
easily Obama-esque
Sex
but
ed.
white president.
Jack Bauer. That's who it is. Jack Bauer type.
So he's a right wing Jack Bauer.
No, Jack Bauer is right wing.
No, I mean like Ben Shapiro, right wing. Ben Shapiro's. I wouldn't call him a Republican.
They deal in tropes. They deal in shit like that.
They deal in bullshit.
Well, yeah, but it's always it's straw man shit. It's like a caricature, and that's always what it is. And if you listen to episodes, the writing is just so bad. It's just. Did you know he graduated from Harvard when he was like 16 or something?
Yeah. He graduated from Harvard Law School when he was like 16 or some shit
What
like
the
that.
fuck is happening? How can somebody? I guess it's because he wanted to be
Cruz
something.
went to Harvard Law, and
Well, yeah, that
I think
like
Noah Hawley went to Yale Law. All these guys who say elitists suck go to all these schools. So it's like,
And
yeah, all the worst people on both sides go from
It was-
Ivy Leagues a lot.
it was
I know
funny.
one person that's not trash. Natalie and I know a lawyer that Andrew Torres that does opening arguments. He was in the same class as
Heard of him? Yeah, he was with Ted Cruz, right?
yeah.
He knew back in the day. God.
Yeah. Passive.
I mean,
Yeah, he's close to you guys, right?
John
Maryland, I
Oliver
think?
just had a big
He's a
string
great-
of clips that he had playing right like back to back after each other of all of these people bragging about their Harvard degree on CNN and on Fox News and on like every fucking news station there was where they're just bringing up their Harvard degree every time. And it's people like, and Ben Shapiro I think was in there, and there was like tons of them.
You know who else is in there and was actually Andrew's one of Andrew's law professors? Alan Dershowitz. He's still a professor at. He's still a law professor at Harvard.
he is. Ugh.
He can choke on a bag of dicks.
He is a genuinely slimy piece of shit.
Yeah, he was one of Trump's lawyers during one of this.
He was
was
on
the first-
Pedophile
He
Island
was
just like the
Epstein.
rest of them.
And he was one of the advising attorneys with Johnny Cochran and all that for the OJ trial too.
Jesus, yeah. Anything where you smell the reek of corruption,
And Cash.
then you will find Mr. Dershowitz, I dare say.
Oh.
So
Must hang out next to Roger Stone then.
fucking Roger Stone. There's an actually documentary about him.
You put it out there in the ether, so now it's going to be.
Did you guys see
It
Roger
is.
Stone dancing to the Trump rapper?
What?
Oh yeah, there's a video of that going around the interwebs of like this big jacked up truck with a big Trump like vinyl wrapper around it, like the stickers, and then a literal like rapper, a dude rapping,
Oh,
and then Roger Stone comes up and like twerks or something. Like I don't know what the fuck you would call it. But
Is it a real Roger Stone?
it's
Send me
really Roger
that.
Stone, yeah. It
Why
was
don't you
at
send me
a
I
rally
mean, even the
or some
real
shit.
one's
He's
fake.
just surprised he's still alive. I think he's like living his best life.
Oh no, actually, he's doing. Um, Roger Stone posted on. Oh, he is. Roger Stone posted on Telegram yesterday. Another cesspool that everybody went to. Gab and Telegram is where when Parler got shut down, people split and went to both. He was saying how he's basically destitute. He can't like barely pay his bills, barely pay for anything because he spent all his money like fighting the last time that he went to prison that Trump pardoned, and that all the money and donations had been spent, and now he's asking for more money in donations. Otherwise, like he's like, I literally might end up homeless, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, we know your friends don't fuck around with poor people.
Whatever. He's not.
Do you think he's just going to start touring with like televangelists now?
He probably could make money just appearances. There's no way. Fuck.
He hasn't like started like a
He can
Trump
make money.
That's what
church,
he's leading up to
official
now.
branch.
He's going to start being like co-hosting the 700 Club or something.
Trump could
Be up on
definitely
Joel.
start a mega
He'll be
church.
on Joel Osteen's.
That's what
fucking-
Trump's best move would be, is to start a mega church. He could sell that shit out.
Well,
be up
Trump's
there
still,
tap dancing.
still cashing in and pretending to be a politician, so he's doing well at that. But yeah, church, I don't see why that wouldn't be a direction to take.
I mean, if I was as big of a bag of trash as he is, if I was him, I would start a church. I would cash in on that if I was him. It would at least get him out of politics. Oh yeah, he's like it's all right there. He just needs to put a sign on a building, a big golden T for Trump, but also make it a Jesus cross.
I mean, if he hugged the flag, he'd hug a crucifix. I mean, what's the difference?
Okay. Anyway, I need to maybe wrap things up. However, the D&D crew over here, briefly, do you have any idea when are you going to release this podcast?
No pressure.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's still in the works. I'm
The
not
next
even
few
sure.
months.
Next few months. That's all we're getting. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to plug or mention or anything?
I always try to plug the Recovering from Religion Foundation that Dr. Darrell Ray started, and his projects, seculartherapy.org, all of those things. If anybody's having trouble coming out of religion and all of that, then I'd advise you to look into those places for good resources.
Yeah, because you came out of a really harmful religious situation, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've...
His Dr. Darrell Ray has a lot of things on religious trauma and things of that nature as well. So.
Yeah,
If
I've
you want-
read...
You should send us links and I'll when I retweet the show and stuff like that, I'll put all that with it.
All right, cool.
If he remembers that. But I met him at, which one was it?
I met
What's
an
the one-
Anacon. How about you?
Missouri? Which one was it, Missouri?
Skepticon? Is that the one in Springfield?
Yeah, the Skepticon. Yeah. Well,
What
they
a
supposedly moved to
conference.
St. Louis. But, yeah, no. Skepticon, I was there and I met him. He's pretty cool. And he acted like he knew me. So, I get around. Kind of like herpes. So, yeah, Darrell Ray, that whole organization is great. I've talked to some of the board members. So, yeah, definitely give them their word through your time. And if you know anybody that's going through that kind of withdrawal from religion, kind of like heroin or something, I guess, for the soul or something, then, yeah, give them a call, and they can probably help you out. Lyman, do you have anything you want to say? Other than
Well, if anybody has any friends, family members, or anything like that that are involved in QAnon, and you want to either know more about how it works, the cult mentality works, or some approaches on how to talk to them to maybe attempt to bring them back into the real world. A really good resource on Twitter is it's called the Thinkin Project. It's at Project Thinkin. And there's actually some really, really good stuff there that myself and about maybe 8 or 10 other people have been putting together and talking to people and stuff like that to try to put together resources for folks to try to help them cope with their family members or maybe bring them back.
That's interesting.
Worth it.
And personally, I would like, I should have gathered information, but it just popped in my head. Survivors of the Texas disaster, because that's what it fucking is. What happened in the Arctic? I mean, there's still a lot of people who are fucking in bad shape. So, and unlike we do care about people supposedly leftists do. Although with Trumpsters, man, I don't know. But yes, okay, fine. We'll keep them alive. Fine. All right, fine.
Give her thoughts and prayers.
Yeah. So I mean,
I thought they wanted to secede.
Well, yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Their own fucking.
Where would they be at right now if they would have actually seceded?
I don't know, but I'm still willing to donate my time to pack and move for them.
AOC was there while fucking your boy Cruz was in Cancun. So I mean,
she raised like almost $5 million, and was down there being boots on the ground while homeboy was. Somebody had come out and said, and I don't remember if there was video or pictures of somebody in Cancun that drank some tequila with Ted Cruz over at the Ritz-Carlton he was staying at over there. So yeah. Yeah. Oh, right now people are really getting on the bandwagon to try to get Beto O'Rourke to run against Abbott.
I already knew that. What, Abbott?
Abbott.
Yeah, governor's the next one that's coming up. I guess 22.
Yeah.
You're going. Well, yeah, okay, because that would be for Senate, I guess. So I mean, I guess that makes sense.
And I mean, between the disaster and him removing any kind of safeguards and mandates for COVID, he just opened the state up wide open starting the 10th of this month.
Yep.
I mean,
Mississippi, I think too.
I think Beto kind of sucks. I don't know about what you guys think, but
He's not great, but he's better than Abbott.
He's a centrist.
Absolutely.
He's a centrist, but I mean, he's
gains basically. Yeah,
he's a little left of center, tiny bit left of center. I mean, but he's still, he's still better than
surprising.
They're fucking politicians.
Like Buttigieg got,
I would if he actually does do a gubernatorial run, I will happily shill for him because, like, while I have my beefs with him, like from a progressive leftist standpoint, like he's infinitely better than those fucksticks that are down there right now that are just basically like, hey guys, I know you don't have power and you're still dying and stuff, but now we're just going to open everything up. And their per capita right now for COVID is 9,150 per 100,000 people that live there. And that's like the best it's been since just before fall. And now they're about to open shit back up. And their vaccination programs suck.
And that's fine. If you can get a vaccine, if you're in the category, whatever phase they're in now, go do it. Everybody.
The worst vaccination rate in the country? My state, Georgia. So,
and the South, I'm Tennessee, far behind.
And if anybody has apprehensions about it, my girlfriend got her second one this last weekend. Her arm was sore, and she, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, was like a 3 tired.
I heard about that.
And had nothing else either time, which...
Yeah, so if you're doing the two vaccine regimen, then yeah, go ahead and expect a little kick on the second one, but suck it up, Buttercup.
I want all the autisms. I want them now. I'm going to take all of them. If there's 10 vaccines out there, I want all of them. I want Johnson & Johnson's. I want whatever.
Some Pfizer, some Moderna.
Yeah. Give them all to me.
Pokemon it.
So, let's wrap things up. Thanks for coming on D&D, Dan Denver.
All right. Thanks for having us on.
And Zach, looking sexy as always. Thanks for coming on. And Lyman for actually showing up.
You're welcome.
Which is a minor miracle in and of itself.
It's not untrue.
Just one time, come on.
And he had a good excuse this time that wasn't related to
it.
computer problems or something.
No. I was talking to my son on the phone.
See, well, of course, he could be using that as an excuse, but I'll let him. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. All right, y'all. Well, hopefully we are going to have Daniel. He'll be like a regular panelist with the Z Dog over here, Zach Law, the Beard King.
Coming to Z Cat.
And you know what? When you guys do get ready to launch your podcast, let us know and we'll do it again.
Yeah, sounds awesome, dude.
Right.
All right, y'all. Well, Lyman, last words.
It's been a touch of heaven.
I don't know what that means. Until next time, y'all take it easy now, okay?